Hi everyone, welcome back to FPL Moneyball, where we use data analysis to find the best players for your Premier League teams. Today we'll be doing a Gameweek 7 review, and although it took place 2 weeks ago, it's still important to look at the player performances and highlights to determine the best team selection for Gameweek 8 coming up this weekend. So without further ado, let's delve into the matches in Gameweek 7. So the first match was Bournemouth beating Fulham comfortably 3-1 with 2 goals and an assist from Semenyo at left wing, who continues to be on his prolific run of form. And given that he's on penalties and continues to shine, I do believe he's a must-have for any manager playing FPL this season. A bit disappointing that Bournemouth didn't manage to keep a clean sheet, and Senesi also didn't manage to get any defensive contributions this game week, so he only managed 2 points this game week. So looking at the expected goals, we can see who leads it, and there's no surprise there. Actually, Senesi and Semenyo tied for the highest expected goals plus assists at 0.72. So I do think that they are the still very good assets to hold for FPL managers, and would definitely recommend having them in your teams. So the next match was Spurs edging out Leeds United 2-1 with a goal and assist from Kudus, who scored 12 points. And he remains the standout option for me in the Spurs attack, as the other players, Tell, Simmons, and Odobert, all came off early and do have rotation risk for Spurs this season. Also disappointing that Spurs didn't manage to keep a clean sheet for 2 games in a row. Although they did have a very strong defense at the start of the season, they have looked a bit more messy at the back recently, and didn't manage to keep a clean sheet against a weaker Leeds side. So taking a look at the statistics, top was actually Okafor from Leeds and followed by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So it was actually a very close match, and although Spurs didn't have the majority of the chances, they still managed to smash and grab their win from Leeds United. So very lucky for people who own Kudus, scoring 12 points this game week. Next match was Arsenal with a very dominating and solid performance against West Ham, although there was some tactical adjustments to Mikel Arteta's team, with Saka coming in at right wing, even replacing Madueke, and Eze dropping further back into the midfield on the left. Gyökeres continues to be the standout, to be the main number 9 for Arsenal, although he did blank this game week. Also interesting to note that now that Saka is back, he's also on penalties as well, so Gyökeres slightly less attractive option, given that Saka will be the main penalty taker now after coming back from injury. Looking at the expected goals and assists, the penalty helped Saka out there record the highest expected goals and assists with 1.95, and he's followed by Gyökeres with 0.68 this game week. So the next match was Manchester United bouncing back from their defeat last game week, beating Sunderland, a very solid Sunderland side actually, 2-0 with goals from Sesko and Mason Mount. Man United looked much more solid at the back, with new goalkeeper Lamens coming in, replacing Bayindir, and also recording a few saves and bonus points this season. So hopefully Manchester United can improve on their defensive performances going forward with this new addition to their team. Looking at the expected goals plus assists, Ahmad was leading in this case, which was pretty surprising. Bruno Fernandes didn't really have a good game with 0.47 expected goals and assists. Didn't really manage to get forward that much. Followed by a few other Man United attackers. Although the main star of the show was the defense and Lamens for Man United, who won the man of the match performance. So next match was Chelsea beating Liverpool 2-1. Liverpool have also looked pretty disappointing over the recent game weeks. After they had a pretty strong start to the season, they have struggled recently due to some injuries, and also maybe the forwards not clicking as much with new players such as Isak coming into the team. So Chelsea actually stole the match winner in the 95th minute with a goal from Estevao, um, and Caicedo also chipping in, scoring, opening the scoring for Chelsea after his goal was actually cancelled out by Gakpo in the 63rd minute. So looking at the top players in terms of expected goals and assists, it was actually Cody Gakpo who, if you own Liverpool assets, I guess Gakpo would be the one to own for me. Given that he can play multiple positions at left wing and striker, and the striker looks like the most uncertain position right now with Isak and as well as Ekatike both competing for minutes there. So Gakpo would be the more nailed-on option for the Liverpool attack. And Salah has been really expensive and hasn't been justifying his price tag so far this season. So the next match was Aston Villa also beating Burnley 2-1 with 2 goals from Marlon. And there are some changes to the team with Marlon coming in at right wing, and it paid off actually for Aston Villa, who have also struggled very disappointingly this season. I think Watkins continued his poor run of form, continued to blank actually, scoring 2 points this game week, and looking at his expected goals and assists, he also didn't really get much. And it was pretty disappointing performance from Aston Villa. The top player here was Luka Dean with 0.66, and I would say Aston Villa assets are a void for me at the moment because they look really poor this season, and I would avoid from owning any of the players. So next match was a very close match between Everton and Crystal Palace, with Everton ending Crystal Palace 19 match unbeaten run with goals from Njai and Grealish, cancelling out Munio's early goal this game week. Sa also coming back from injury and recording an assist and 2 bonus points as well. So very encouraging performance from him. Looking at the statistics, in terms of player performance, Njai, who is on penalties, recorded the highest expected goals plus assists, followed by Chris Richards for Crystal Palace and Grealish from Everton. Mateta also continues to get some chances, although he didn't manage to convert any of his 0.49 expected goals and assists, and has been actually a bit disappointing for managers this season. Hasn't really been able to continue his strong run of form from last season. So taking a look at the next match was another solid performance from Newcastle, beating Nottingham Forest 2-0 after goals from Guimaraes and a penalty from Voltemade. After Anthony Gordon came off on the 70th minute, Voltemade scored a very impressive and very unstoppable penalty that could see him actually become the penalty taker for Newcastle going forward. But it still remains to be seen, who's going to be the penalty taker for Newcastle if Anthony Gordon and Guimaraes also is on the pitch. Also would like to highlight a strong performance from Dan Burn with clean sheet, defensive contributions, as well as 2 bonus points. He's a very experienced defender who also gets a lot of DEFCON potential. So I would say he's a standout option among the Newcastle defense, who have been, I think, the top defense actually this season. So definitely want to own some of their defensive asset, and Burn would be the top pick for me at the moment. So the top player in terms of expected goals and assists was Voltemade, who scored the penalty at 1.45, followed by Newcastle players. And Nottingham Forest continued to look very poor and struggling under their new manager. So I would avoid any of their players at the moment. So next match will be a 1-1 draw between Wolves and Brighton. Pretty uneventful game with an own goal from Verbruggen, which was equalized by Van Hecker in the 86th minute. I don't think both of the teams created much chances. Very low expected goals of 0.36 from Arias. So Brighton also look to be kind of struggling this season, and their attack also doesn't look very strong and unable to create a lot of the chances that they had last season. The last match was Manchester City beating Brentford 1-0. The Manchester City looked actually a bit disappointing and lackluster compared to their previous few games, only managing a 1-0 victory over Brentford after a goal from Haaland actually saved the visitors this game week. Also strong performance in defense from Guardiola, who scored 9 plus 3 bonus points, and they look much more solid at the back with the signing of Donnarumma from PSG. So looking at the stats, I think Haaland didn't get as many chances as he had the previous game week, and is even lower than Igor Thiago from Brentford. He only had 0.30 expected goals, but still managed to score, which is very impressive for Haaland. And I do think that he will get more opportunities in future game weeks. So continue to own him for your team. So now let's take a look at how I performed this game week. And I actually scored 79 total points versus an average of 60 points among FPL managers this game week. The key contributions from Arsenal defense, Calafiori and Timber. Calafiori and Timber both getting clean sheets this game week. In midfield was Semenyo with 2 goals and assists. Grealish with a goal and bonus points, as well as size and assist. And for the forwards, Gyökeres and Pedro both blanked, with Haaland scoring a goal for Manchester City. On my bench, I did have Dan Burn, however, I didn't play him, so I missed out on that 11 points. Otherwise, I could have scored actually 88 points, I believe, this game week. Looking at the dream team or the team of the week, Semenyo scoring 18 points is the top player, and still solid options at the back from Timber, Newcastle, defense Dan Burn, which continue to show strong performance at the back, as well as Mo Kudus from Tottenham, who looks to be improving under their new manager this season. So I hope you found this video useful, and we'll be focusing on our Game Week 8 team selection later on this week. So do like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my video where I'll cover the best team to have for Game Week 8 using the data analysis of expected goals as well as points per million, to come up with the player recommendations. So see you next week. See you later on this week, and bye.